Welcome, Sagittarius. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot getting ready to do a timeless reading for you. I usually integrate a little bit of astrological information into the beginning of the readings because I'm also an astrologer, but because this is a timeless reading, I'm not. Astrology is like the cosmic clock, so I want this reading to be available to you whenever you find it. So let's get started, Sagittarius, with your overall energy. The Two of Swords. Two of Swords is a card that indicates whatever decision or choices you're making needs to consult something close to you. There's a need for really clear honesty with yourself. This can be brutal because whatever it is that you are possibly avoiding or would rather not look at is very close to you. This can be a habit that you know you need to release. This can be a relationship that you know doesn't really serve you, does not support you in the way that you feel that you need support right now. It may feel like a crossroads, but instead of simply seeing it as a choice between two or more things, if you really look at whatever it is that you're avoiding in terms of gaining more information, is really will help you in understanding the context of this choice. There are many more options open to you, many more opportunities embedded in the choice you're making. But you can't see that. You're having difficulty seeing that because what you need to change, what you want to change, is very intimate. In the past, we have the Death card, the Six of Pentacles, and the High Priestess. There's a lot of focus on your relationships, at making them equitable. And not simply relationships with people, but relationships with your projects, your audiences, clients, with other things as well as people or groups of people. Your relationships, your efforts, you're looking at how much you give and how much you get back. And you're trying to balance that out, very aware that you feel most comfortable when you're in control. When you're the one making decisions, when you feel that you don't have to ask for help, rather when others are asking you for help, that's something that may be changing for you right now, because you're really releasing this idea that you are all powerful in the sense of your relationships, meaning that you are automatically the caretaker, you're automatically the nurturer, you're automatically the person who provides, who takes care of the responsibilities. This is a big lesson for you to release, a big misconception. Not that it hasn't been appropriate or sometimes is appropriate, but in any relationship, there should be reciprocity. And you're aware that this attitude in relationships, this comfort with being in control, denies you the opportunity to receive. And you're aware that because you're always in control, you do not receive the benefits of being nurtured or cared for or attended to. You exclude yourself from the possibility of being attended to, cared for, loved, nurtured, respected in the way that you try to provide for others. So you're in a transition from this. You're rebirthing your concept of relationships. You're making sure that they're not equal in terms of tit for tat, but that they're equitable, so that you feel that they're balanced, they're harmonious, and they're not draining to you. This is really coming from an old story of who you truly are. You're having to go back to memories of your past to reflect on your relationships as early as childhood, but not necessarily. You're really looking at relationships and understanding what they've reflected of you has always been the capable one, the one who is capable, the one who can nurture the world, who can carry the world, who knows what others need without them saying so. A beautiful quality to have, but this quality is really intended to be shared. In other words, there's a way in which you can reflect back this deep sense of knowing, this deep sense of connection, and the ability to reflect, to think, to contemplate on the experiences of others is to help others to understand, to gain in their own self-knowledge, rather than to looking to others to supply things that we need. So you are carrying this sense of completeness, of wholeness, of the ability to reflect back and to help others gain that same sense of wholeness, so that the efforts of giving and sharing, receiving in relationships is something that is constantly active, that constantly is reflecting back and forth, and that is like a kaleidoscope, always illuminating a new aspects and experiences that reflect upon the wholeness that is you. I hope I'm clear with that. In the present, we have the Lover's card, the Two of Pentacles, and the Four of Wands. The theme of choices is very clear here, and I'm seeing this because of the number of twos here. Your ability to reflect upon who you truly are, your wisdom as a result of this self-knowledge that you cultivate in every situation is helping you to understand your past better. You're seeing the ways in which you have chosen, not just between different lovers, different kinds of love moving forward, but the way in which you've understood love is outside of you, something that you have wanted and craved, something you've wanted to bring into your life, and you've often expressed that as a way of loving others. And loving others was a means to cultivate that love for yourself. And what you may have learned is that it doesn't quite work that way. That love is a journey, it's a path, it's a conscious agreement between people around the areas of their connection and the ways in which they can and can't support one another. So moving things out of this deep subconscious, this collective unconscious arena of knowing, carrying the world's worries, being in touch with people at almost any and every level, does not replace the ability to consciously grow a relationship with people at a conscious level, where you are explicitly agreeing to terms not that come out of past experiences, but come out of the present moment and the way in which you want to build a future together. And that's something very different. And this is part of what you're understanding now about the choices you've made about everything. This is helping you to create this cultural and spiritual foundation that is helping you and others, the others that you interact with, to grow and expand. This more authentic way of not withholding your knowledge, but of sharing your knowledge, and the process of the way that you reflect and gain that wisdom is what is helping others to grow. Primarily you. You are understanding that your lifelong learning is the path you're committed to and the place from which you can grow a reality, a sense of community, a sense of pleasure and joy and celebration around that community. In the future, we have the Four of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Page of Swords. You're doing a lot about the way you want to move into the future. You have learned to move from a place of your own desires, to move from the place of your heart. And this is important. This is critical for you. So that now, when you manifest things, when you receive invitations or offers, you're actually able to recognize that you have a choice in that fit. If this particular offering doesn't match what you need now, even though it may have been something you wanted many, many years in the past, maybe it's something that you once dreamed when you were young, and that wish has gone into the universe. When you receive it now, you're able to see if it suits you and understand that if it doesn't suit you, if it isn't a match for you, then you can manifest something that does. This is you really building up your ability to stay aligned with your heart, to stay aligned with who you are and those things that feel good to you. This is one of the biggest foundations you're creating for yourself. So this ability to grow and the ability to feel good, this desire to feel good in the efforts that you expend. The considerable efforts is part of the way that you're evaluating your life, your current projects, the way you're working overall. And you're understanding that you can be getting more value from the efforts you expend. And in fact, this assessment is leading you to ask more questions, to look further, to look to new inspirations for ideas, things that you want to learn. The willingness to learn, the openness to learning is something that only grows for you. And this is considerable, Sagittarius, as you already are a sign that loves learning, loves big ideas, loves to travel intellectually. And you are inspired by your understanding now of new needs that you recognize you have. I'm going to clarify the Six of Pentacles in the past with the Five of Wands and the Two of Cups. Another two. The twos are really winning the day here. This is this relationship that you're building with yourself. By looking at all of your relationships, particularly for those of you that may not be in a significant romantic partnership or in a marriage, this has been prompting you to validate and confirm all of the relationships that are a part of your life, all the ways that you're supported and that you support others. The ways that you're exploring your relationships is bearing upon the way that you understand who you are deeply and your capacity to love in a consciously agree to relationship. This is soul love that you feel more committed to than ever. And for the sign of the Bachelor, Sagittarius, this is considerable because I believe many of you are comfortable without the significant other. You're comfortable with yourself. You're comfortable with a variety of relationships in your life. You don't necessarily feel the need for a conventional partnership. However, in your ability to negotiate your relationships and work towards those things that are important to you, you're learning that you, in fact, have created a relationship that can be dignified through your significant relationships, through the deepest connections you have. Excuse me. That's better. That you feel and are sensing that there is a significant relationship for you. One that you may have long dismissed the necessity for. You're now open to and recognizing your readiness for that kind of a special romantic relationship. The Two of Pentacles in your present is clarified by the Emperor and the King of Wands. Wow. My allergies are really kicking up because it's stormy here. You are perhaps not choosing between, but negotiating between a very powerful, experienced person in your life and someone who has you and yourself, actually. I'm seeing you as this fiery King of Wands, confident, able to lead, impassioned, and determined to be successful. And this Emperor energy as perhaps that significant presence in your life, someone who is willing to support you, someone who is experienced and successful in their own right on their own terms, someone whose experience and ego is sufficiently grounded in order to allow for your fiery and passionate nature, is not threatened by your many explorative quests and abilities to find and discover new areas and activities of interest and growth. So this person who is willing to help you and lend you some critical support to something that you are moving towards, something you want to build, is really content to accept you on your terms as an independent leader, as a strong and powerful person in a way that, and their support does not threaten that in any way. In the future, the Seven of Pentacles is clarified by the Eight of Swords and the King of Swords. I do see that the acceptance of strong support, particularly from a very strong individual that has a lot of resources to offer, a lot of advisement to offer, and perhaps some very conventional but highly tested ways of being successful. There may be an overwhelm of ideas that you are sorting through, that you and this person will need to sort through. You're perfectly able to match them. I don't sense your intimidation by these ideas, by these strategies, by these proven tactics to grow your business, your project, to advance it. But you are very clear that these ideas must be made your own because this project is your own. The direction you're moving in is for you. It's your expression, and your ability to experience it and process it as such requires you to engage with this individual on each argument at every level. All the information you gain, you must vet for yourself. And this you are able and willing to do, not simply in relationship to a strong supporter, but in relationship to all the other people that are involved in your efforts, in your projects, in the direction you're considering. I hope that this is resonating for you, Sagittarius. Please like and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot, and I appreciate all the support that I gain from you. I am pulling a crystal oracle at this time, and I will flip over this card, the Brazilianite, and the key word is flexibility. I'm flexible and free to be me. I love this for you, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for your time. Until next time, namaste.